talk about meta. So I recently released a video talking about how a dungeon mob bearing Geomancer threads was acting more like a DPS, and I had the goal to criticize the DPS nature of this Geomancer, seeing how I am really craving for variety in an MMO that I play nearly every day. Now, whether Geomancer has been seen in the game as a healer or DPS, that was not the point of the video. Obviously, it was about the variety that we as players were lacking, but the issue didn't stop there. One line, just one line in the video sent some people into overdrive. That line is this. What's the meta for every raid? We need one paladin at the very least for a good defensive class, kind of like the red mage for the res bitch role. Off tanks are usually delegated to the warrior, not much on the dark knight because at least the warrior has a barrier to put up. This line in the video caused a debate in my own Discord. People went on saying their opinion, which is fine, but at the instant I saw the subject matter, I knew this video was going to be made. The fact that warrior is now the designated main tank is not so much as a problem to me, but the fact that people get mad when you talk about the meta, and since the warrior is now the designated main tank, it is now sacrilege to even make that mistake saying that the paladin is the main tank. It's actually kind of stupid. No, the paladin's now the off tank for some reason, and I'm still trying to figure that one out. They say since the warrior can unchain and basically be a more damaging tank and etc, that makes it the designated main tank, and the defensive as hell to heaven paladin is now the off tank. First question, why should we care so much who the main tank is anyway? Oh wait, damage, right? If by chance someone comes up to me and asks me if I have a warrior available, I'm gonna fucking lie and tell them, nope, Dark Knight is what you get, baby. I personally don't care who the main tank is if you want to ask me. I honestly think the meta is just a guideline rather than it being the de facto way of taking on content. Like, the meta isn't the be-all solution on taking on any high-end content in any game. And if you pull up games like Overwatch, again, I don't care. Overwatch also has a meta, but they are also guidelines and strategies that you could use. Now, 14 and MMOs are a bit different. There really isn't something like competition in the games that make metas all that important, and even if they were, the meta would more likely still be a guideline for me. I hate the fact that when the meta is mentioned, people have this idea that if you play certain games like Final Fantasy XIV, you pretty much have to understand it. When you're a tank and you play as a certain class like warrior, some people have this expectation of you because the meta says so. Take a scenario where you're in a dungeon everyone has gone through hundreds of times, but this go around you have someone who's ready to burst through like it ain't no thing. First, they rush your protective or your healer, seeing how you're at level 70 and you should already be an expert at everything you do, right? But not only that, if there's a DBS, they'll more than likely run off at the drop of a dime and expect you to be there to grab the aggro since you're the tank. Ready to pull the fish back since tanks are supposed to always be ready with the same mindset as every other speedrunning bastard ever. Not only that, but they expect you to know the layout so well that you grab mobs in the 10s so that everything can die a little faster. In the world where speedrunning exists and meta is the top priority, there is no such thing as taking your time or pacing yourself or having fun. So with all that chaos, you as the tank must stay alive and essentially put your full trust in a healer you've never met and stay alive long enough to beat the end you're dead. Now the meta really isn't at fault for players who just want to rush a dungeon. It's the player that wants to put the meta at top priority when someone says they don't have a full knowledge of the dungeon and haven't used the job like someone who uses it at in-game trials. Or in this case, if we're speaking in general, in-game content. People who make the argument that since the warrior is here, they have to be the main tank because they're the warrior. Meanwhile, little Jimmy just wants to off tank because he wants to hit things and not focus on defending himself. Oh wait, let's just ignore Bob because Bob is the paladin and now he is the designated off tank. But Jimmy is the warrior, so now he has to be the main tank even though Jimmy wants to be the off tank. Let's just ignore Bob, who has a fuck ton of defense and can actually defend himself and live with the best invincibility skill in the whole entire game. No, fuck that. We're just gonna go with Jimmy. We're gonna put Jimmy in that situation because Jimmy is the warrior, right? Fuck Bob. Bob doesn't know what he's talking about. Bob is regulated being the switch tank when situation requires it. Meanwhile, Jimmy is being told that he needs to get good because he's more of the offensive tank. Oh wait! Jimmy was just told that he could just stay defiant and unchained when he gets the chance for extra damage because shut up. And in the back we have Bob shouting to the heavens saying, "Hey! I can be the main tank!" Shut up, Bob. You stand over there. That's what the meta says. This whole thing with tanks really just ruffles my jimmies. Ruffles my jimmies? Did I really say that? Did I really put that in? I did. I put it in the script. Anyway, it makes me mad when the meta takes over when fun can be had. But don't get me wrong. I want to finish content too, but I usually hang around people who don't usually do high-end content. The reward is great and the achievement is also great, but something about doing it over and over is just not the way they want to go. And I understand that. I'm very competitive by nature, and would rather do the harder stuff in games. If it's not evident in my Bloodborne streams, I do every now and then. I love hard content, and I like doing them for the reward and playing with friends, but I also like to just relax and game. I want to do dungeons at my own pace without being rushed, or even trials that I can just do casually with the steps down pat and just complete them. I have a friend who has an FC who does high-end content and makes it fun getting rewards and doing all the hard stuff. You could say they're ecstatic, but this very same friend also has a YouTube channel where he shares his adventures with other like-minded viewers who he invites to play with him. He also has a second VR channel which I question the reason why I watch every other day. Seriously, I have no idea why the hell I keep going back.
I got working now.
Neato. Nice.
And lastly, I should say when it comes to a job, no one, and I mean no one, should change their job due to the meta. Never should you let the meta dictate what you like to play as in any MMO or game. If you like playing Jigglypuff in Smash and it's your favorite character, go nuts! If Orisa is the tank you prefer above all else, knock the ball out of the park, buddy. If you'd rather have Hit in your Dragon Ball FighterZ lineup than having that broken as fuck Goku Black, do it. And if you'd rather be a black mage in high-end content, a main tank paladin in any trial, or an astral healing player with supposed sucky mana management, which I don't believe, reach for the heavens, my friend, because you should do it. Just do it. Because when it comes down to me and the plethora of jobs anyone could choose, I say choose whatever job makes you feel happy and powerful. I didn't choose Dark Knight because of how the mana management makes them the most difficult tank to master with the worst invincibility in the game and balanced out DPS defense with pretty good aggro. No, I didn't choose them for that. I honestly chose the Dark Knight because they have a big fucking sword. And I like the dank-ass edgelord abilities. I mean, this shit looks good. So in short, I just want to say, for all you meta loyalists out there, take the thing as a guide, please, not a way to purely play the game. You should be having fun, not just achieving this or clearing content that or getting that loot after 43 tries, 16 hours, and getting only a fucking ring after your parents had to yell at you about you wasting your time. I mean, by all means, if clearing content and getting achievements is your thing, if doing something 43 times for 16 hours in that one singular day you had off from work, if that is your thing, by all means, go for it, but at the end of the day, to me, that's just not fun. Or something might just be wrong with you and you need to go see a doctor. Because to me, it doesn't become fun. It becomes a chore. Getting that ring becomes a sigh of relief of you saying, woo, glad that's over, rather than you saying, god damn, I want to go back because that was fun. I would rather have the latter than the former, please. And I know burnout exists, and I know that's a thing, but that's when things get dangerous and sad, when you leave the game for something else. I have plenty of times, even 14 has given me burnout. I don't want to see that in my viewers, or my friends, or even random players. I mean, look, this is what I'm trying to say. To sum up the whole entire video, fuck the meta.
Somebody say, hey!